Hey, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, June 28th, and I'm going to be talking about 5 things that you must know as a Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, DoorDash driver, or what have you. But first, it would be amazing if you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And also, when you have a chance, make sure to smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. And today in the comments, I'd love to know what kind of book you enjoy reading, or what book you like reading for either fiction or personal developments. For me personally, I gotta take it back to the basics, man. Think and Grow Rich is an amazing book for development, and I probably come back to that book every year just to reread it and get some new insights from it. So Think and Grow Rich, let me know what you guys think below. I'd really appreciate it. And then also, we've been getting so many requests for questions, one-on-one chats, phone calls and all that. And I really do enjoy helping everybody. However, now that we're getting so many requests from people, I think we just need a little support ourselves. So I set up a Patreon account, and on Patreon, you can subscribe and get live Q&As and one-on-one private chats with me, just to kind of help us out a little bit, because I want to continue helping as many people as possible, but in order to do that for as long as possible, I also need your support. I'll still continue to try answering as many questions as I can through YouTube comments, but if you feel a little altruistic and want to give us a little support, then hit up our Patreon page. The link is in the description below. So today I'm going to be talking about the EIDL loan and how you should be able to use it and how you can use it as an Uber or Lyft driver. And so there are basically 5 things that I wanted to cover today. 1, car payments. Since you're self-employed as an Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, whatever driver, you can actually make car payments with your EIDL loan, okay? So it is considered a working capital payment. If you're making the minimum payments, whether you have a car loan or a car lease, you can do that. The one thing that you can't do is pay off your car or pay off a big chunk of your car, because that would be considered refinancing your loan. And as you know, that's not allowed with the EIDL loan. I know that this gets a little blurry because, in my previous videos, I talk a lot about having a business and personal all separate. But I know for independent contractors or self-employed people, the lines are a little blurred, and that's natural. You're not doing anything wrong there. It's just naturally how it is. So if you're using your car for business, for your Lyft and Uber driving, then, that's an essential part of your business. And you don't have like an entity, a separate entity to put your car under, to register your car under. So it's not technically like a business-owned vehicle. It's just your personal vehicle, okay? So what you can do there is you can just pay your car payments with your EIDL loan. 2, working capital expenses. So I've been asked, Ryan, what are working capital expenses for Uber and Lyft drivers? And so I got a list of a few things right here, and it's definitely not limited to these things, but these are just some things that are common and for you to be aware of. First is car insurance. Car insurance is absolutely necessary for driving in this country. So you can definitely use your EIDL loan to pay your car insurance if you're self-employed. Now, remember, this is specifically for Uber and Lyft drivers, any rideshare, any like delivery service that you work for. If you're self-employed, you can pay for your car insurance. If you own an S Corp or LLC or partnership with another partner, and your business is not any of these things, this is a different story, because you definitely have to have your vehicle registered under your business. Again, this video is specifically for rideshare, food share drivers. You can use your EIDL loan to pay for your gas, your tolls, your parking. You can use it to buy supplies. I know sometimes I've ridden in Uber where the driver had like water and snacks for us. I know some Uber drivers have like freaking video games and stuff. Well, that's a little bit more questionable whether you can use your EIDL loan to buy like a Nintendo Switch. Snacks and the other refreshments for your customers are allowable. One other thing you can use your EIDL loan for, and this might be a little controversial, is for your cell phone. since you use your cell phone, it's absolutely necessary to have your cell phone for your business, for driving. My opinion is that you can reimburse yourself a good portion of your cell phone bill with your EIDL loan, because it's just such a necessary part of driving for these companies. 3, what are some things that you can't use your EIDL loan for? You can't use it to pay for meals for yourself. Okay? When you're talking about business meals, you're usually in a meeting or you're meeting somebody for that meal, and you pay for the meal and you get to deduct 50% of it on your taxes. But a meal for yourself is hardly ever a business deduction. It's only a business deduction if you're traveling over 50 miles away from where you live or where you conduct business. But as an Uber driver, you can't use it to pay for meals for yourself unless, of course, like I mentioned, you had to drive somebody somewhere so far and you're 50 miles away from the city that you usually would be conducting business in. Then you can buy meals for yourself. But at this point, no meals for yourself. That's not allowed. You can't use your EIDL funds to buy a new vehicle, whether it's to pay for a new vehicle outright or to just put as a down payment for a new vehicle. That is also not allowed, as you know. You can't use the loan to pay your taxes, your income taxes. Okay, that's not allowed. That's definitely a personal expense. Even though you use Uber or Lyft to generate business income, your taxes are a personal expense. You can't use the EIDL loan to pay off your previous tax liability or your upcoming tax liability. 4, what kind of documentation do you need as an Uber, Lyft, Grubhub driver in order to prove all these things to the SBA if you were to get reviewed? So definitely records of receipts, invoices that you have to pay for whatever reason. You just gotta have proof that you paid these things, okay? So the proof would be receipts and bank or credit card statements. Bank and credit card statements generally, in terms of the IRS, is not enough for proof. So keeping receipts would be the cherry on top that would help your case. My recommendation has always been opening a second checking account for your EIDL fund or a second savings account for your EIDL money, so that you can easily track what the EIDL funds are being spent on compared to your revenue money. Okay, so that makes tracking that a little easier, especially, you don't have to do it. It just builds a stronger case for you. And with something like this, I want to err on the side of being more conservative and more foolproof. And you don't have to open a second checking account. If you have good bookkeeping, that could work too. However, the second checking account will just help solidify your case if the SBA were to review your application or the use of your funds. 5, loans or money that you borrowed that you can actually pay back. So if you use your credit card to pay for things during the shutdown, or because of the shutdown or because of the crisis, you can use your EIDL loan to pay off that credit card balance. Now remember, that's only if you use your credit card because of the crisis. If you had a credit card balance beforehand, back in 2019 or before, you can't use your EIDL loans to pay off that balance. Okay. Another question I got is if you borrowed money from a friend or a relative to continue your business, to continue driving or pay for gas or car payments or whatever, you can use your EIDL loan to pay that money borrowed back. Any other loan, like long-term loan, car loan, all that other stuff is not allowed. You can't use the EIDL loans to just pay those off. That's considered refinancing. So if you have to take out money or loans specifically due to the pandemic, you are most likely allowed to pay that back with your EIDL funds. So now I just want to read a couple comments from last video, hopefully answer some questions here. So Jenny D says, if I open a separate checking for the EIDL loan, can I take distributions from the original business account and not break the loan contracts? Also, Is the review of books and records only for the separate idle loan and bank account, or can the SBA ask to review both of the business accounts? Okay, thanks Jenny for the question. If you open a second checking account for your idle loan, you can still take distributions with your normal revenue earned income. Okay, I know it doesn't specifically say that in the loan contract. In the loan contract, it says that you can't take any distributions, but I read the standard operating procedure for the SBA, and in there it specifically says that you can't use the idle funds to take distributions, and it doesn't mention anything about your normal revenue generated money. So yes, if you do open a separate checking account, or you just use revenue generated money, you can pay yourself distributions. Also, if the SBA asks to review your information, they can review your entire business, your financial statements, all your bank accounts, all your credit cards and all that. It's not limited to just the SBA. It's not limited to just the account that you opened up to store the loan money in. Wednesday says, I just wanted to let you know that I was with a tier 2 employee at SBA who told me that they got an email today saying that anybody who did not check the box for the grant or the advance, you can't reapply. Well, that's pretty disappointing. If you didn't check the box when you first applied for the idle grants / loan, then apparently you can't reapply for it. And that's kind of disappointing, because I know some people probably didn't check that box by mistake to receive the advance. And I don't know, my take is that you should just try to reapply anyway. You know, it's not gonna hurt. If you know you didn't check the box for the advance and you want the advance, just try to reapply. Question from PKT Home. Hi, I'm a nail tech. How to use idle loan money? Can I pay for my health insurance or my home mortgage? And that is a no, you cannot do that. Your health insurance, if you're self-employed, your health insurance is definitely a personal expense. And your home mortgage is also definitely a personal expense. So you can't use the idle loans to pay for that. DD says, so paying myself is not considered payroll. And if you're self-employed or an independent contractor, paying yourself is not payroll. Payroll is if you issued yourself a W-2 and had your taxes withheld from your paycheck, that's actually payroll. But paying yourself as a sole proprietor or independent contractor, that's actually considered a distribution or withdrawal. And you can't do that with the idle funds. So those are all the questions I'm gonna go over today. And that's all I got for today. So thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate your support. Again, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, please smash that like button and smash it real hard. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care for now.